Good morning. So, a year ago I began what I titled Book Series, and I was reading from The Life and the Teachings of the Masters of the Far East. Well, I'm going to knock that out, guys. I'm going to try and get through all 6 books. I'm going to take one step at a time. This is chapter 2. I'm going to read until I find a comfortable place to stop, or if I get to the end of the chapter, I'll stop there. I'll also add a little bit of commentary, maybe along the way or maybe at the end, maybe spots that really resonate with me and that I feel like sharing with you. Okay, so we're going to get going. By the way, if you want to link back to, I'll put it in the description of this video, chapter 1. You can see and listen to that whole thing, and this is chapter 2. For the outset of our 3rd expedition, in which we took up the metaphysical research work, our little party assembled at Potal, a small village in the remote part of India. I had written Emil that we were coming, but did not write the object of the trip, nor did I even mention the number in our party. Much to our surprise, we found complete preparations had been made for our entire party, and that Emil and his associates knew our complete plans. Emil had rendered us a remarkable service while in southern India, but the service rendered from this time on surpassed all description. To him and the wonderful souls we met, I wish to give all credit for the success of our entire undertaking. We arrived at Potal, from where the expedition was to start, late in the afternoon of December 22nd, 1894, and found we were to start Christmas morning upon what was to be the most memorable expedition of our whole lives. I never shall forget the few words Emil said to us that morning. These words were delivered in fluent English, although the speaker did not boast an English education, and he had never been out of the Far East. He began by saying, "'Tis Christmas. To you, I suppose it is the day Jesus of Nazareth, the Christ, was born. To you the thought must come that he was sent to remit sins. To you he must typify the great mediator between you and your God. You seem to appeal to Jesus as a mediator between you and your God, who seems to be stern and at times an angry God, sitting off somewhere in the place called heaven, located where I do not know, except it be in man's consciousness. You seem to be able to reach God only through his less austere and more loving Son, the great and noble one, whom we all call blessed, and whose advent into the world this day commemorates. To us, this day means more. To us, this day not only means the advent into the world of Jesus, the Christ, but also this birth typifies the birth of Christ in every human consciousness. This Christmas day means the birth of the great master and teacher, the great liberator of mankind from material bondage and limitations. To us, this great soul came on earth to show more fully that we, the way to the real God, the great omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient one, to show that God is all goodness, all wisdom, all truth, all in all. This great master who came to this world this day was sent to show more fully that God not only dwells without us, but within us, that he never is nor can be separated from us or any of his creations, that he is always a just and loving God, that he is all things, knows all and is all truth. Had I the understanding of all men, it is beyond my power to express to you, even in a humble way, what this holy birth means to us. We are fully convinced, and we hope you also will see, that this great master and teacher came to us, that we might have a fuller understanding of life here on earth, that all mortal limitations are but man-made, and in no other way should they be interpreted. We know that this greatest of all teachers came to show more fully that the Christ that the Christ in him, and through him he did his mighty works, is the same Christ that lives in you, in me, and in all mankind, that we can, by applying his teachings, do all the works that he did and greater works. We believe that Jesus came to show more fully that God is the one great and only cause of all things, that God is all. You may have heard it said that we believe Jesus received his early training among us. Perhaps some of us do believe. Let that be as it is. Does it matter where his training came from, among us, or as a direct revelation from God, the one source where all things really exist? For when an idea from God mind has been contracted by one man and sent out through the spoken word, cannot one or all again contact that through the universal? Because one has contacted the idea and sent it out, it does not follow that it is his particular possession. If he did appropriate and hold it, where would be room for receiving? To receive more, we must give out what we have received. If we withhold what we receive, stagnation will follow, and we will be like the wheel that generates power from the water, and suddenly, of its own volition, begins to withhold the water which it is using. It will soon find itself stifled with inert water. It is only when the water is allowed to flow freely through that it is of value to the wheel that creates power. Just so with man. When he contracts God's ideas, he must give them out in order to receive the benefit from them. He must allow all to do the same, that they may grow and develop as he is growing. I am of the opinion that what Jesus taught came to him as a direct revelation from God, and it no doubt has come to our great teachers. Are not all things of God? And whatever one human being can do, cannot all do? We believe you will be convinced that God is ever willing and ready to reveal himself to all men, and he has revealed himself as he has revealed himself to Jesus and others. The only requisite necessary is for each one to be willing to let God come forth. We believe with all sincerity that all are created equal, that all men are one man, that the mighty works done by Jesus can be done by all. You will see that there is nothing mysterious about these works. The mystery is only in man's mortal conception of them. We fully realize you have come to us with minds more or less skeptical. We trust you will live with us and know us as we really are. Our work and the results accomplished, we leave you to accept or reject as you will. Awesome. So, what did we just hear? Well, we just heard in chapter 2 that every single one of us has the ability to contact the omnipresent, omniscient, and omnipotent God. Now, I'd like to add a little bit of backstory to what I understand about what this means and what Emil was speaking to these Westerners back in 1894. It's the same message that Christ was teaching to his brotherhood and sisterhood once he was resurrected. He was teaching this while he was alive in the mortal flesh, but he gave very scientific level descriptions and accounts of what this means after his resurrection. Now, if we go back in time and we trace primitive Christianity to the Essene Brotherhood, then we find what are known as the Gnostic texts, or Gnosis Christianity. Now, Gnosis means knowledge, or to grasp, to understand. And that was what Jesus the Christ imparted to his brothers and sisters in the flesh once he returned from beyond the veil after his resurrection. Now, in another video, I'm going to go into a descriptive detail of what death, resurrection, crucifixion, Christing, what all of that means in a physiological sense. For now, let's talk about this. Science has begun to come to understand the quantum realm, quantum physics, quantum particles. And they know that they are smaller. The quantum realm is comprised of entities that are smaller than electrons, the previously known smallest object that we were aware of. But with advances in technology, we became aware of the quantum realm. Now, this is what Jesus is talking about. This is what Emil is talking about. He's talking about the ability to contact the quantum realm. Now, within the quantum realm, it exists everything that there is. Okay? Sacred geometry, it permeates all matter. So it permeates from here to Jupiter, from Jupiter to Saturn, from Saturn to Pluto, from the Sun to Pluto. It permeates every single thing. Some refer to this as the source field. Others refer to it as like a cosmic web. This was the basic understanding that Einstein used to develop theory of relativity, rotational gravity, all of these things. If you look inside of a physics textbook, you'll see that planets look like they're sitting in some kind of like mesh web, causing like sort of a depression, and then you use that to figure out rotational gravity. It's complex, but at the same time, it's talking about the quantum field. Now, when we go into that quantum field, which permeates, it knows not time and it knows not space, it just is. And so this is what we're talking about when we talk about an infinite creator, an omnipresent creator, and an omniscient creator. Because it's neither good nor evil, it's just basically pure good. It just isness. Within that, because it knows not time, and because it knows not limitation of space or boundary, it's able to bring forward knowledge that some person said thousands of years ago and present it to your awareness here and now. And this happens through your thinking process. And in another video, I'll get into how thoughts manifest into things. I'll get into how thoughts essentially manifest into images and words within your own mind. But for now, let's be suffice to say that everything is vibration. Things move in at a vibratory rate. They contact your ethereal field or your astral body, and then your astral body interprets those vibrations as images and thoughts. The exact same way that a radio antenna, which is matter for all intents and purposes, interprets invisibility or frequency in form of radio waves as sound that then projects through your speakers, maybe in your vehicle, for example, or a stereo. And you could think of those speakers as being like your mouth speaking words, the little crystals and the receptors that are inside of the radios being your mind, the construct of your mind, interpreting those vibrations and then materializing them into other forms of vibration like words, thoughts, images, pictures when we paint and draw, all of that good stuff. So I think I may have gone on long enough here, and at another time we'll get into more detail about what this type of stuff means to you. How can you use it in your day-to-day life? Because you're already using it. Step one is to become aware of it taking place in this fashion. And once that happens, then you can begin to kind of see things in a different light. You'll be able to understand things in a way that you may have not previously considered understanding them. In a real way, a very tangible way. Namaste.